you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm Tustin.
Thank you so much, Trey. I thank you, Trey and Dr. Carolyn, for you both actually, take the time and answering our question. Anyone else on stage? I know I have some champions in the room that has read a book or two that has lit up their path and has inspired them. Please pay that gift forward by sharing some gratitude for a book that has blessed you along the way. Who's next?
I'll jump in there. Ooh, go ahead.
No, you go help.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tempted to promote my own book, but a book that
do it.
Okay, Live Your Legacy. It's a guidebook. It's a new spin on mourning. It's a guidebook. It's a 30-page read and then a little bit of journaling to go deep into it. But I do want to also share an amazing short read, and it's Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman on Earth, because this book is really, it's a beautiful fictional book. However, the morals goes back to like the Ten Commandments, and it's also a short read. If you're on an airplane, you'll finish it before you get off. And I love promoting books like that, even though I have 274 books in my playlist of Audibles, because I love books myself. But I do want to also offer you for your charity. I'll DM you in the back, but I would love to do a match if anybody's ever interested in a bulk order, because I also believe in philanthropy. I love you and God bless.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that, Patty, to the moon and back. Definitely drop your information in the chat as well. You guys, I'm praying you will also donate some of Patty's books to Books in the Hood, and definitely also the Og Mandino books. I get more boys than girls that show up to these events, and they are always inclined towards those financial books, anything along the lines of business and sales and money. It flies off. And so I really, really, really ask you guys to definitely send us and tap in to the books that Patty recommended. Mary Kim, I think I heard you, sis. Go for it.
Yes, love. I love what you do. And I still have the pile of books I said I was going to send you. I will send them to you. And I love that you're giving back. It's philanthropy in my blood. For me, I didn't like reading books. We were forced all the time to read all these books in school. My sister loved them. Everyone in my house loved them. I just didn't. I was really like, I want to say like a spicy rebel. Like, I'm doing what Mary wants to do, right? So the first book that I actually wanted to read was When the Rabbit Howls. And it was a story where the main character, I think it was based on a true story, I'm not sure, but it changed my life. And because of the abuse that dealt with as a kid, she created there was like multiple personalities, and that gave me I was like intrigued by it, inspired by it. I know it sounds maybe a little odd, but it just gave me an insight to behavior. And growing up in two domestic homes, it just changed the dynamics of me and my heart and my mind. But the one outside of that gave me a reality check was journaling. I know it's not really a book, but those spiral notebooks I was able to get, those actually, I know today, saved my mental health, saved my place where I was, and just kept me sane. So that was the real book, was my own thoughts on a piece of paper that allowed me to be who I am, and allowed me to live in a different world and envision a different world that I was living in. So I know it's not really a book, but it was the book that saved me. So thank you for this, and all that you do help well on the other mic.
Oh, I love that. Listen, I count my journaling books as well. And think about it. Look at how many books that have been developed by journals, right? So it definitely counts, Mary Kim, because a lot of our history has actually been recorded and found that way. A lot of the things that we've actually put into what we consider now a formal book, but isn't when people are writing books, I don't know about you guys, but you're typically writing in a journal. I'm not one of those that can write a book on a computer. So that is exactly it, right? That's what I'm saying, girl.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I have boxes of every journal I've ever written, and I'm in the process of writing my memoir. I'm pulling all that out. So yeah, you're right. Thank you for that reminder.
Yes, thank you so much, sis. So you guys, I wanted to bring up another book that is huge, that I think is going to really, truly, if you go back to it, I think if you just at some point every year go back to this book, it's a very simple and quick read, and it's called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. If someone could put that title in the chat for me. But here's the thing, that the big underlying message that really leaped out for me is to don't be him and haw for long. Don't him and haw on your goals. Don't him and haw on your health. Don't him and haw on your business, your finances, your education. Listen, your recreation, your family. Listen, don't be him and haw and take too long. Listen, your cheese is going to get moved. You have a new body every 7 years. I don't know if you realize that or not, but your cells change. Your body, you do not have the same body that you had when you were 2. You don't have the same body that you had when you were 14. You don't have the same body that you had when you were 21 or 30 or whatever your age is. You can just go back, dial back 7 years. There's some changes that have taken place. I can tell you, as someone who is 46 years old, listen, there's definitely some changes that happened from the time I was 40. Seems like something happened when I crossed that threshold. But here's the thing, even though somebody moved my health cheese, I didn't stop there. I did not stop there. I didn't rest in the land of hemming and hawing. I just, guess what? I realized I got to stretch a little more before I hit that trail. I realized that maybe I can't drop it like it's hot in that Zumba class as often as I'd like to, or at least without having a little jacuzzi or some massage treatment or some heat after. I had to make some adjustments because somebody moved my health cheese when I hit 40. But not only that, someone moved my cheese in my business. Someone moved my cheese in my family. I had to adapt and adjust. And I'm so grateful for Amelia Antonetti and what the segments that she does, because I was struggling with the cheese that got moved in my parenting. Because as our kids age, guess what? That cheese gets moved. Who I needed to be for my daughter when she was 5 is not who I needed to be for her when she was 25. So I had to adapt and understand that that cheese got moved, and I couldn't stay in the land of hemming and hawing and wishing and hoping that things would just be the way that they were. No, because that was not serving her, and it honestly wasn't serving me. So she had to back me up off of her business. I couldn't be the 5-year-old parent trying to parent her through her business. That wasn't my place. And I'm grateful that she was able to, respectfully tell me to mind my business. So Who Moved My Cheese has been a pivotal book. And not only that, is through that coaching and that conversation and me buying that Designing Genius book has been something that really, truly, really, truly has helped me. So who else? I'm sure there's many of you on stage. You have some books. If not, some of us will take a second helping to it.
That's a good book. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to jump in here. There's a series of books under Humber University that I saw there, which is in Canada, in Toronto. It's called Brown Like Me. It's a series of children's books. I do not remember the author. If I do remember the author, I will try to get it to you. It's one of the things that I took into my school. It's amazing. It explains situations about being different to children so that they understand what's going on for them and they don't make themselves responsible. And I love the book, Don't Move My Cheese.
Oh, I love that recommendation. Caroline, please drop that in the chat for us, because I think that will be an additional resource as well. Thank you guys. You guys have some great recommendations coming. River, and then I heard Maria.
I was just going to share Dr. Nadine Burke's book, The Deepest Well. It's a really good read. And it helped me with 10 Toes Down, with giving it to people and helping them to best understand their adverse childhood experiences. She explains it very well. And there's also the test in there where people can, if they have any adversities or anything like that. But it's a very great book from Dr. Nadine Burke's. Also, there's a section in there that the Vice President, Ms. Kamala Harris, wrote in there as well.
Oh, I love that, River. Oh, you guys got to tap in on Sundays in TM's room. We get to hear a little more from River. And I just love when you on mic, River. You just always have these gems of wisdom that I definitely need more of in my life. So thank you so much for that recommendation, River. Then don't forget to put it in the chat. Maria, I saw you on mic, sis.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hi, everybody. So the book that started me, my book of all books, which I read a few times, is God on a Harley. And I read it, or someone gave it to me. Back in the day, I was a teacher. And one of my teacher friends, she saw me going through this massive breakup. It was like it just was a bad breakup. And I ended up I looked so skinny. I became anorexic. Like, it was crazy what happened. And she hands me this book. It's God on a Harley. And it's a story of a 37-year-old nurse. And she goes on a spiritual journey with this really handsome, good-looking guy on a Harley. And he helps her go through this journey of release and growth. And I know Dr. Dale talks about emotional intelligence. It was just and I was in my 20s. I was 25 years old when she handed it to me. And I read it again when my husband left. Because, like you said, things change, right? Who moved my cheese? Things you change. And then I gave it along the way. I gave it to some friends, and I'm almost feeling like I should read it now. But with all the other books that I've read, sometimes it's good to go back to the basics, right? To what got you started. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull it out of my box in my garage. You know exactly where it is. That book really did change my life. In the book also, there's a little story of her releasing, but almost like the metaphor of cleaning out your closet, but he literally makes her do it. It's such an interesting journey, and it's, I think, by Joan Brady. Really good book. I highly recommend it to anyone at different stages of their lives.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Please type the title in. I got to add that one. That was so interesting to me, Maria. Please drop it in the chat. And I'll definitely find out who the author was. But I definitely want to be able to copy and paste that title. So I also have Designing Genius by Amelia Antonetti and Patricia Wooster. And in the book, one of the underlying messages, at least I've been slow reading this. I'm serious. Like, I literally meditate on a page like a month. And I realize she talks about, at this point, it takes a hero to be willing to stand up and design the life that they want. And that's what this year has been about, is me having that momentum to design the life that I want. If you're someone that if you're ready, you're at that stage of, you understand that somebody done move your cheese. Now it's time for you to design the life that you want. Are you willing to go on this hero's journey? I highly recommend Amelia Antonetti and Patricia's book. And I also am asking, this is an ask as well, please send us an extra copy of it to Books in the Hood. I put the address in the chat. I want to thank you all who've already tapped in. Who else has a book that has inspired them and added some light to their? Tricia, go for it.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's that? Linnell or Tricia, whichever who wants to go first.
I think Tricia was first.
Linnell, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Tricia, you go ahead, and we'll close with Linnell.
Okay. Quickly, first I want to say, Maria, if you've held on to that book for this long, it's because you need to read it one more time. The book for me is The Other Side of Chaos by Ellen Van Vechten. It goes into the science of addiction, and it is for people to deal with the addiction of a loved one. But yeah, definitely Maria, you need to read that book, and then you need to pass it along to me so I can read it. That sounds so interesting. So thank you. And Health, I owe you some books because I promised I would give some to you every week, every month this year. So I owe you books. I'm done.
Oh, thank you so very much. You guys, we also need coloring books, and we need crayons, we need water, and we need chips and whatever you'd like the kids to have. Again, you can ship that to the address that's there in the chat as well. You can send us some goodies through Amazon. But the kids need, I'm telling you, as being someone, I know what it's like when school closed for those 2 weeks. I used to wonder, how was I going to eat? Because school is how I ate. We were that poor. I'm just keeping it a buck. No shade to my mom, but she did the best that she could. Keeping a roof over our head was the primary, thing. But I was hungry. And I remember what that's like. I thank God when some of the programs started, not only giving us an opportunity to read, but they gave us some snacks. And sometimes that snack was the only thing I had for the day. So I'm asking you to tap in with me. Linnell, go for it. We're at our final 3 minutes, and I'm going to be passing this over to Felicia. I'll be back next week for my regular segment, but me and Felicia, the tag teaming to help out and cover for Christina this week. Go for it, Linnell.
Good morning, everyone. And, health, this is such an important topic because I remember I came from a product of a single parent household, and books were very important to me. We were latchkey kids, had to come in, and be at home when mom said that we needed to be home. And so reading was very important for me, but also coloring books as well. And so the book that I read that really changed my life is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And it really talks about just, attaining a level of excellence in your own life first so that you can pour that out to others as well. And then as far as coloring books go, that was a great outlet for me as well. And I don't know if you know, Health, but I have 2 coloring books that I've created. One is a Thanksgiving coloring book. The other one is called Family Food and Gratitude. And that's on Amazon. But I'm going to go ahead and ship you a box of those books because I remember being at home and really wishing I had that family unit. And so the reason that I created these particular books was because I, in my imagination, created the family that I wanted to have when I was younger. And so I'll go ahead and send those books out to you. I don't know if they'll come in time for the event that you're having, but I will definitely send them out to you. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Well, yeah, so our annual one is on the 27th, and then we're also doing a distribution at Christina's event the last weekend of January. So you still have time to at least send us those, and we can be, ready for that event as well. So our collection won't end for the 27th, won't end there because our final distribution will happen the last weekend of January. So thank you so much. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I got to add your books to that list. And so I want to close with my final book, which was, I'm grateful that Dora Maria wrote the book, You Are Beautiful. Because there's something that my granddaughter, she was excited to flip through it. And she kept saying, she's like, Gigi, that's me. Because Dora showed her herself in that book. And so I say to you, yeah, that's you. You are beautiful. Listen, not only just you as the person, the gift that God put inside of you, you're beautiful. The body that he gave you with. Stop hating on your thighs, your stomach, your hands, your feet. Listen, you're beautiful. God gave you that. Some people somewhere is praying for the very body parts that you are taking for granted. You're beautiful. And yes, that's you. Just like I had to say to my granddaughter, yeah, that's you. So that's me. Hold on to that. You are beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm Shawnte Wells. I hope that you guys will tap in to Books in the Hood and help us. Listen, for $1.25, you can help us put a book in a child's hand. Our distribution information is in the chat. Our event information, if you're in the local South Florida area, you can show up. You can tap in with our link above that I'm sure Ms. Feline will switch out for hers, but I'm also going to put it in the chat. And so I want to thank you guys, and I want you to all on mic, and let's give Miss Felicia a big old woo! All right. So now Miss Felicia. Miss Felicia.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we got a question for you before you take this mic now.
Okay, go right ahead.
Because I know you being you, that you got a book that's lit up. You got to give us one book that you're grateful for that lit up your path.
Yeah, you know what? As you were speaking of children, I thought of this book. That's going to just talk about it too. I Love My Hair. That was a book that stood out to me for children because it was particularly for little brown girls that, you know, may have had struggles with acceptance, particularly in just the way that their hair is textured. And the artist is actually local. So I had a chance to really understand, you know, just the story behind it. But that book was so cute to me, but I think it just has such a great message. And again, as you're saying, you know, all of this is about self-love, right? Self-acceptance. And I think that the sooner we could do it for children, you know, they could grow up stronger and have to go through less of baggage that we've had to go through, right, to become and get to where we are. Not that we're not still dealing with baggage, but we're dealing with less baggage now, many of us, because of now us understanding more about our identity. So yeah, that book right there.
Oh, thank you. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Health. Again, guys, you are in Breakfast with Champions. This is Shake Saturday, and I'm like, okay, let me get some. I gotta, you know, get my voice going here because y'all are the first people I'm really talking to this morning. But I love it when health comes with the energy. So let's actually drop some hearts and give some heart emojis for Health Wells. She is always such an amazing ball of energy. Every time I hear her speak, I get hyped. Health, you hype me. Yep. And that's great. You know, and again, we are all individuals. And as I was, like I said, we can just keep the conversation going. As Health has pointed out, we're here covering for the amazing Christina. Always a pleasure to do anything to assist her. They do so much for this community. So yes, she had reached out. But long and short, just happy to be here. And I always try to put thought into what would I want to share. You know, if you're a heart person, give me a heart emoji. But I'm just the type of person, I want to give something that's from the heart. We can come in here and just talk about this, that, and the other. But I think, you know, if you can give something from the heart, you know, they always say what flows from the heart reaches the heart. You know, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, shaking it up, you know, and really having us shake ourselves up many times is the key to growth and development. So my name is Felicia Shakespeare again. And what I want to talk about today, which is really great, we've been talking about books as I came in the room. You know, that's a form of what? Communication, right? When someone uses their ability to write, they are using their voice, right? And what I want to talk about briefly a little bit today is about effective communication. So I just think that is a great way to even segue into this because, again, I always tell people, you know, a book is only as good as it is read. But what goes into becoming an author and putting your thoughts into a formal format, when I say that, as in you gather it up and you go through the whole process of editing and vetting and getting that feedback, that is such a critical skill. It's really a business. Literally becoming an author is a business in and of itself because of all of what it takes. I always tell people there's a before you get it out, right? Then you get it out, and then it's obviously the beyond the book part where you have to get the word out because a book is only as good as it is read, right? You can pour your life into a book project, but if it's not in the hands of people, you know, it's not still getting your words out. So that's the beauty of even what Glenn Lundy is doing right now as he's preparing his community for his book project that he's written. You know, so he's definitely doing a great job promoting it. So what I want to talk about again is just effective communication. I think sometimes, you know, one of the greatest barriers to our next is our communication or lack thereof, right? How we
have the ability to communicate with others, right? With our, even sometimes even with ourselves. But mainly today, I want to talk about how we communicate with others. Shows how, sometimes how far we will go in our endeavor. So I was thinking about it. I said, okay, there are 4. As I was thinking about it, and I went on and verified it on, I have to do my research. But there are, in my mind, there are already 4 forms of main communication. Verbal, right? When we speak out, right? A lot of us know how to do that well. Our body